The dog stopped cold at the tree-line, tail stiff, ears up. The deputy followed, and that is when they saw him. An old man, wrists bound, lips cracked, not a sound, not a name, just one patch on his sleeve, 101st Airborne. What the K9 did next made a town stop whispering and start remembering. If stories like this move you, hit subscribe and comment respect if you are still watching. The dog froze just past the clearing. It was early morning. Mist still hung low across the pine floor. Deputy Carla Finch tugged the leash gently, but the German shepherd would not budge. He stood alert, nose high, tail straight. "Ranger," she called softly. The dog did not bark, just stepped forward once, then twice, then stopped again. And then she saw it at the base of a half-fallen oak, half covered in wet leaves and pine needles. A man slumped forward, hands pulled tight behind his back, bound to the trunk, gray hair matted to his head, cheeks sunken. For a moment, she thought he was already gone. Then she saw his chest rise barely, and his lips move. She knelt down fast, radio crackling on her hip. "Sheriff, I have got a live male, white, elderly, found restrained near mile marker 12. EMS needed now. Possible hypothermia." She took off her jacket and wrapped it around his shoulders. He did not speak, did not look at her. His eyes stared ahead, distant. But as she gently reached under his collar to check for injuries, she saw it. A patch, faded but clear. 101st Airborne Division. Her breath caught. The man, this broken, silent man, was a veteran. Sheriff Ray Hammond arrived 15 minutes later. By then, EMTs had started cutting the zip ties, loading the man onto a stretcher. He had not said a word, just clutched the coat Carla had wrapped around him. "Any ID?" Ray asked. "Nothing," Carla replied. "No wallet, no phone, just this." She handed him the patch, now separated from the coat. Ray held it in his palm for a long time. The dog, still sitting nearby, did not take his eyes off the spot where the man had been found, like he knew. Like something about this was not just wrong, it was personal. By 9 a.m., the town already knew. They always did. The EMTs had not even left the edge of Pine Hollow before the chatter started. They found someone out there. Old man tied to a tree like a criminal. Some say it was just a drifter. Others say he had a military jacket. By the time Sheriff Hammond got back to the station, 2 reporters were already waiting outside. He waved them off. "No name, no statement. Not until we know who he is." Inside, Carla poured herself a cup of stale coffee with shaking hands. She had not stopped thinking about the man's eyes. How they did not blink much. How they looked past her like he was not sure if he was still alive. They had brought him to County General, stable, barely responsive. No ID, just the patch and the bruises. He did not wander out there, Carla said, standing in the doorway of Ray's office. Someone put him there. That was intentional, planned. Ray nodded. He knew. Small towns do not forget faces. But somehow no one seemed to know this man, at least not yet. Out in the kennel behind the station, Ranger, the K9, still sat alert. Would not eat, would not settle. Every time someone opened the back door, he looked toward the woods. "He wants to go back," Carla said. Ray looked up. "Let him." It was the nurse who first noticed the tattoo. Small, faded. Inside the left wrist, a date, then a name. Harris Raymond J. She told the attending, who told the charge nurse, who called the station. Within an hour, Sheriff Hammond was standing in room 214 of County General. Raymond lay still, eyes closed, for dripping slow, a bruise across his temple, scrapes along both arms like someone had dragged him. Ray pulled up a chair. "I do not know if you can hear me," he said, voice low, "but I'm going to talk like you can." He took a breath. "Your name is Raymond Harris. We checked. Army 101st Airborne, retired, Master Sergeant, served 2 tours in Vietnam. Commendations, Bronze Star." Still no response. "But that does not answer the big question, does it?" Ray continued. "What happened to you? Who did this and why?" Ray pulled a folded piece of paper from his coat. An old newspaper clipping, photo from a 4th of July parade 10 years back. There, right on the float beside the flag. Raymond Harris, full dress uniform, standing proud. Back then he was known, respected. Back then he had a home. Ray turned the paper over. The address listed was a farmhouse on Lakeview Road. He sent Carla to check it out. The house was still there, barely. The paint had peeled. The shutters hung crooked. The mailbox was gone. Inside, it looked like someone had cleared out in a hurry. Dust. Empty picture frames. a couch with a torn cushion, and in the corner, a cane snapped in half. Back at the hospital, Raymond stirred, eyes opened just for a second. He whispered something. Carla leaned in. What did he say? Ray looked down, shaken. Did Ranger find me? The next morning, Ray took Ranger back into the woods. The K9 leapt from the cruiser before the engine fully stopped. No leash, no commands, just instinct. Ray followed close behind. The forest looked different in daylight. Less menacing, but no less quiet. The old oak still stood where they had found Raymond. A ring of disturbed earth remained. Boots and branches still pressed into the ground. Ranger sniffed the area once, twice, then bolted east through the underbrush. Ray moved fast to keep up, heart pounding harder than he wanted to admit. 30 yards deeper in, the dog stopped, paws planted, tail stiff. Ray stepped around the brush. There, half buried under pine needles and wet leaves, was a small duffel bag. He crouched down, unzipped it. Inside, a tin of crackers, an old military photo creased down the middle, a legal envelope, and a key. Ray opened the envelope carefully. Inside, a copy of a reverse mortgage agreement signed 2 years ago. Raymond's name, but the second signature. Brady Harris, he read aloud. Carla had pulled the record back at the station. Brady was Raymond's nephew, his only living relative. Filed for Raymond's guardianship 6 months ago, moved into the Lakeview property not long after, then sold it, which meant the house was not taken, it was stolen. Ray stood there in the woods, clutching the photo. In it, Raymond as a young man, smiling, arms around 2 other soldiers. And on the back, in faded ink, "We made it home. That is what matters." Ranger let out a low whine and nudged the corner of the bag. Ray looked down at him. "You are not just a tracker," he whispered. "You are the only one he trusted to bring him back." The dog wagged his tail once. Ray's jaw clenched. "He left the trail," he said, "but someone made sure he could not get back on it." He zipped the bag, slung it over his shoulder, and started walking. Back to the cruiser, back to town, back to the people who needed to hear what they had tried to ignore. Sheriff Hammond sat across from Brady Harris in a booth at the gas station cafe. Brady looked like he had not missed a meal since Raymond handed him the house. Pressed shirt, Bluetooth in one ear, keys to a new Ford on the table. He smiled when he saw Ray. "Sheriff, to what do I owe the honor?" Ray did not return the smile. "I found your uncle." Brady's face twitched. "Uncle Ray? I did not even know he was missing." Ray slid the reverse mortgage agreement across the table. "Looks like you knew enough to sign his house." "Away." Brady shrugged. He was not all there. Had not been for years. "He told me he wanted out. He also told someone to chain him to a tree." The smile dropped. Ray leaned in. "You sold the house, got power of attorney, but you forgot something." "What is that?" "A man like Raymond Harris does not disappear without leaving a mark. And apparently he left one on a dog." Ray tapped the photo that had been tucked in the duffel bag. "You ever serve, Brady?" Brady scoffed. "No offense, but I did not." "See the point." Ray did not blink. He did 2 tours, saved lives, came home, and built that house with his own hands. You walked him right out of it and left him to rot. That is a serious accusation, Sheriff. No, that is a statement of fact. You did not just rob a man. You robbed a soldier. You robbed this town of one of its own. Brady grabbed the envelope and stood. "You do not have proof of anything." Ray stood too. "Maybe not the kind that holds up in court, but I have got 100 bikers out there who served with him, who remember him. And I have got a town that is going to know what you did by sundown." Brady stepped back. "What do you want?" Ray did not raise his voice. "You are going to give the money back. Every dollar. You are going to sign the house back over, and you are going to do it quietly." Brady laughed. "And if I do not?" Ray nodded once toward the window. Brady looked out. Across the street, motorcycles lined the curb. Men in jackets stood shoulder to shoulder. No signs. No yelling. Just watching. Ray picked up the photo and tucked it back into his pocket. "If you do not," he said, "I will let them handle the conversation." The paperwork moved faster than anyone expected. By Friday, the house on Lakeview Road was back in Raymond's name. Brady did not fight it. Did not show his face. Rumor was he left town before the ink dried. No press. No apologies. Just silence. But the town remembered. A flyer appeared on the church bulletin board that Sunday. Community cleanup. Lakeview House. Saturday at 8 a.m. No signature. No request for volunteers. Just a quiet notice. By morning, the driveway was full. Old neighbors brought rakes and paint. High schoolers dragged out old furniture and sorted what could be saved. A man from the hardware store dropped off supplies with a simple note. Tell him it is from Paul. 2nd Battalion 69. Raymond sat on the porch, still weak, still quiet, but upright, watching. Ranger lay at his feet, head on his paws like he had never left. Katie, the nurse who had been there since day one at the hospital, knelt beside him with a mug of tea. You okay with all this? She asked. Raymond looked out over the lawn. Kids painting. The porch swing, a teenager patching shingles. He nodded once. I did not think anyone remembered. They did not, she said softly. But they do now. Raymond reached into the pocket of his flannel shirt, pulled out the photo again, the same one from the duffel bag. He turned it over and scribbled something on the back. Held it out to Katie. What is this? Just a note, he said. In case I forget again. She smiled and read the words. Not forgotten. Just quiet. Down the road, someone started a grill. Someone else brought chairs. It was not a party, but it felt like something being put back where it belonged. Ray pulled up in his cruiser just before sunset. He stepped out and walked over. You ready for what comes next? He asked Raymond. The old man gave a faint smile. I already had the hard part, he said. Now I just want to live where my boots still fit the floor. The town did not do ceremonies often, and when they did, they were small. Maybe a ribbon, maybe a plaque. No spotlights, no speeches. But this one was different. It was held on a Sunday afternoon under the old oak tree behind the courthouse. Same place where they honored local war dead every Memorial Day. This time there were no flags at half-mast, no black ribbons, just folding chairs and quiet faces. Raymond sat in the front row, a clean shirt, fresh shave, same boots. Ranger sat beside him, vest pressed, badge shining. Sheriff Hammond stepped up to the mic. He did not speak long. There are some men who never ask to be remembered, he said. They do not raise their hands. They do not chase headlines. They just do their duty and sometimes get forgotten in the noise that comes after. He looked down at Raymond. This town forgot someone, and we are here to say we will not do that again. He turned, picked up a small wooden plaque, and handed it to Raymond. It read Raymond J. Harris, 101st Airborne Division, not forgotten, just quiet. The crowd stood, no applause, just standing. One by one, people approached. Some shook his hand. Some just nodded. Others placed small tokens beside his chair. A service patch, a photo, a folded flag. Then came Ranger's moment. A deputy stepped forward and knelt. He pulled a small box from his coat. Inside was a custom K9 medallion. For service beyond duty, the deputy read aloud. And loyalty that never blinked. Ranger did not understand the words, but when the crowd bowed their heads, he laid his head gently across Raymond's boot. The moment did not need music or a headline. It just needed people to see. And remember, the porch light at the Lakeview house stayed on that night. Not because someone forgot, but because someone finally came home. Raymond sat in his old rocking chair, the same one his father had crafted by hand, long before war ever touched his life. Ranger lay curled at the base of the steps. No vest now, no badge, just a dog with tired eyes and a satisfied belly. The town had gone quiet again, but it was not the kind of silence that forgets. It was the kind that honors. Katie stopped by just before dusk. She left a paper bag on the porch, soup, bread, and a note. Same recipe your mama used. You are not alone anymore. Raymond chuckled. He picked up the bag, sat back down, and looked at the stars. He did not need speeches. Did not want parades. He just wanted to be acknowledged. And now he had been. He reached down, scratched behind Ranger's ears. You found me when even I forgot where I was, he whispered. Guess that makes you the real guardian. The dog thumped his tail once, then fell asleep. Raymond leaned back. The chair groaned gently beneath him. For the first time in years, the wind did not sound hollow. It sounded like belonging. If you believe some heroes never stop serving, even in silence, subscribe and help us share the stories that still count.